You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast. Do remember to click like and subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. We're here to talk about the 100. Max, it's underway. Every team's played a couple of matches at this point. We're not going to do what we do for the IPL, where we go through the games and the talking points, etc. Because, frankly, I think we're at the point where the 100 doesn't have the same cachet as the IPL, and it would be not a waste of our time.
Yeah. It also gets through it a lot quicker than the IPL. So there were like 10 games to talk about rather than 4.
Yeah, that is partly true. That is partly true, for sure. But what is your main thought? If you could say one thing about the 100 in 2025, what would it be?
Does it have to be nice?
No.
But my main emotion towards the 100 this time round is I would have liked an extra week off on the back of the England-India series before it started, so that I had a bit of a chance to miss cricket before it immediately turned around and slapped me in the face again with all of its bright colours and shouting. But it's here, so we will talk about it because it's here. And in terms of the actual cricket that's been played, also not that inspiring, because we've had like maybe 2 games in the men's side that have been close, definitely 2 or 3 in the women's side that have been close. But it's been a lot of thrashings, some quite low scores as well, which is actually a bit I found a bit surprising. But I think it's taking a little bit of time to get going. But there's been some moments, some good performances, a couple of close games. So there's hope there for a good competition.
Yeah, I kind of agree with most of that. I think I might have said this to you. It's a bit like having the Vengaboys on.
Yes.
After you don't. If you're booking a festival, you don't. Who's your favourite band, Max? If you were going to go to a festival, who would be the headliner?
That's a big one.
Blink 182 or something like that.
I mean, you could throw
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, MCR. Their tickets on sale on Friday for MCR at Wembley next year. I'll be in for those.
Now imagine
Green Day, My Chemical Romance, that kind of.
Okay, right, yeah. Look, imagine Green Day are playing at Wembley, and you go along, and then like they send you an email being like, right, make sure you're in your seat for 6 o'clock because Green Day are going to be playing a little bit earlier this year because we want to fit in like a Bob Dylan tribute act from Barry Sloots, from the Dog and Duck, to come on afterwards. But don't worry, there'll be lots of fireworks. And it's not to denigrate Barry or whatever I called him from the Dog and Duck, or
Barry
Bob
Sloots.
Dylan, or fireworks. Like, they're all kind of entertaining things. Like, the right time and place, all of that can be fun. Is it right now after I've just seen the thing that I wanted to see? The answer is sort of no. And
I'm slightly drunk because I've had 6 pints. And
yeah,
a bit tired.
we got yes, the last train. I'm worried about the last train, but I'm not allowed to leave Wembley until it's over. Like, that's one of the conditions of the ticket.
I want to beat the rush. Have you seen Wembley Way when it's busy? My God,
I have to stay here until the end. Otherwise, I'm banned from ever seeing Green Day again.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like that. I don't like. I think as well, it's not helped this year by the fact that everyone knows it's sort of like a holding competition for like the future, basically, when the new owners get to start playing around with their toys and refreshing the teams and bringing in some new players, changing the format, like all of these things that we know are
London Spirit still going to be called London Spirit, though. That's big news.
we know all this stuff is imminently on the horizon. So it's sort of like this tournament that didn't exist a while ago. That does. I'm like, don't get me wrong. It has its moments. I've watched the games. Been to quite a few of the games. Like I do think it's quite
generally
fun.
been good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not though. It isn't England v India going down to the final day, 56 minutes of mayhem, like all of that stuff. It's just it cannot and it will not be able to produce that level of drama and intrigue because the tournament has existed for 2 minutes. Most of the players, haven't vividly dreamt of representing the team. Well, in fact, all of the players. Let's be clear. All of the players would much rather have featured in that Test match than the match they're playing in now. And
you kidding me?
Most of them have oriented their careers towards trying to be in those matches in international cricket, basically. And so it always will look like a secondary product in comparison to that. And then you throw in the kind of the waiting for next year element of it, and it does make it difficult to really motivate yourself to be interested and to follow it. And then, Max, as you say, you throw in 7 pretty dud matches. So just to go through this, we had a 9-wicket win. We had a 9-wicket win, a 5-wicket win that was very comfortable, a 9-wicket win. We've had a 6-wicket win, an 8-wicket win, and a 6-wicket win chasing 80. So again, very, very comfortable. And like all of those games, like nobody will remember anything about them ever. Like they're just not good cricket matches. Interspersed with that, we have had a 1-wicket win that went down to the second last ball. Was a really, really good game, and like that should be highlighted as something that was good. We saw some David Warner action. That wasn't too bad a game. I can't complain about 163 plays 155 really. So it is possible for the cricket to be good, but it does suffer right now in that the Beatles Vengaboys.
Yeah, it's a bit of a limbo period, isn't it? And I wonder if do you reckon flipping it round would be the right call? Like bring the
playing the women's
forward?
games.
Bring the 100 forward and have the series later. I suppose the school holidays is the thing, isn't it? That they're obviously aiming for with it. So it's tricky to do that.
Yeah, but I think that is the crucial thing. It is designed to be something that you take your kids to. It does fill that gap pretty well. It's fairly cheap. The game is easy to understand. There are fireworks which are fun. Like I'm not.
Well, it was fairly cheap. It's like, 40 quid to go to Lord now for the 100.
40 quid still not that much money compared to £200, which is what it costs.
Compared to a test match, yeah.
But this is like you can't if you're going to make that comparison, if you're going to say it's not as good as Test cricket, you do have to look at the price of the things side by side and say, yeah, actually, you could go to every single one of the 100 games at Lords and have money left over to buy sweets for the same price as going to day one. Of India v England, so it is definitely filling. Well, I think it's definitely filling a bit of a gap in the market, and so I understand why it's played in August. And the other thing is, I like fireworks and I like crisps, and I don't really have a problem. I don't have a problem with it, but I think that you have to be a very sad and bitter individual to be like angry at the 100 because. They play in Skip's shirts, and they've
vastly improved the scoreboard on the TV. Well,
the scoreboard on the TV
that now. That's got good. It's getting better.
As somebody who did, who prefers Test cricket to T20 cricket, it is, it's not even T20 cricket, and I think this is the more I see it, the more I am like I would actually, as a cricket fan. Here, I am bored of the 100. Like the format itself, I think is a big problem because none of the players know what they're doing, and they don't care because they know it doesn't exist for very long, and they get paid elsewhere anyway. Yeah.
So I've got 2 questions for you on that. Since you brought it up, one was something that someone suggested to me at cricket actually on Saturday, and we were talking about it. Do you think the format lends itself to more washouts, like dud games? Because basically, if you have a bad power play or a bad half a power play, you've got less time to catch up than you're doing a T20.
That's definitely a thing. I think it being shorter as well. So I 120 balls. It just gives a little bit more time to adapt and to do different things. I think the whole power play thing in the hundreds. What is it? 25 balls. It's not actually the same proportion as a T20. I don't understand why it isn't 30. Why does it end halfway through the I don't know what they call them, the double set from one end. That they like just have the first 10 balls from that end, the first 20 balls from the end you start at, and the first 10 balls from the other end of the power play. Why does it have to stop halfway through? I think that's dumb. I think not having time to come back because of the truncated nature of the game means that one team gets on top, they tend to stay on top. But even to a greater extent than T20 cricket, where that happens all the time. There's lots of T20 matches that are effectively done after 15 overs because one team is on 170. Like this, like we shouldn't look at T20 and be like, oh, it's always drama in that. We shouldn't look at Test cricket and say there's always ebbs and flows, because loads of the time there isn't. Like lots of the Test cricket just one summer ago was really one-sided and really boring.
I think the thing with the game of Test cricket, when it goes one way, is there's always a little bit of hope left, and it might swing back the other way because it's so much longer. And it is possible for that to happen. That, do you?
And you also, I think, in Test cricket, there is an element of players playing for individual legacy and history as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and a country.
Well, and a country, but like there is. If you are being absolutely hammered in a Test match, scoring a ton at Lords is still...
There's always something to play for, yeah.
It's still an achievement, as hilarious as it was when they tried to make them walk off after the shaking hands and all that nonsense. Yeah, like that 100% is part of the joy of
package,
it. Like, yeah, if you are chasing 210 in a 100 game or in a 100 match, you know you're not going to win that match. And a 50...
You're coming in at number 5. It's 93 in the 11th over.
A 50 off 12 balls, it would be good, but like really, it doesn't have the same cachet. Like nobody is playing to try and get their 300th wicket and cement themselves as a great for Manchester Originals. I'm sorry, that just isn't happening. That doesn't mean that the cricket necessarily has to be bad and that I dislike it, but you have to look at like what is the other intrigue involved in the game. And if the games themselves aren't exciting, and I think the format limits the possibility for that because I think it is too short, then it is a problem for it's a problem for me as a cricket fan to properly engage with it. Like, what percentage of T20 cricket matches are good? Half? Maybe a bit more than half, like games where you're like, that was a good game. And maybe 20% are like, oh, that was genuinely thrilling. That was really, really exciting.
If I remember this week, I'm going to look up like the last few seasons of the IPL and see what the difference is in. I'll define what I think a dud game is and try and work it out. Second question on the back of all of this, is it going to be T20 in 2 years?
Yes. I think it will be T20 next year. I'm surprised. I feel like they should have diagnosed it as a problem after the first season. Like it was clear that the format doesn't really work. The players don't really know what pace they should be batting at, and that makes it a slightly worse product, doesn't it? Like, you want the best product, so why not do something that everyone knows what it is? It also makes like batting collapses mysteriously common, I think, in this tour. I don't think the pitches are always amazing. Like I'm not sure why that is. But I do think there are
big
some
on spin
venues
so far this year.
Yeah, I don't know if some venues are like, I don't know whether there's sometimes pitches are manipulated, right? I don't know if that's happening too much, but I don't think they're great for like shot making all the time. Lords is always Lords, so you have to ignore any game that's played there. But the other ones as well, I'm not. I think in this format, 160 should be the kind of the par rate. That's my feeling. And in this tournament so far, one team has managed to score 160 batting first. Now, to me, that speaks to teams not really knowing how to play in the format and the pitches not being very good.
Yeah, huge chase.
And I know we're not. Yeah, and we're not talking. We should probably. There is a whole other women's competition going on at the same time, but I think we are doing the comparison with other men's comps here, but not intentionally, but accidentally. And I think that does ruin the game a little bit. It's supposed to be fast paced and exciting. There isn't really enough time for like a team to get bowled out. So I feel like it feels like everything is just sort of diminished to me, Max. And I do think an extra 20% of balls would help solve that, and just playing the rules that everyone understands, so that teams aren't like constantly trying to figure out what a good score is in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah, well, I mean,
be a good thing.
you're drilled
Also,
into
I
it,
don't
aren't you?
like
What
that the
run
players
rate
don't
do I
swap
need?
ends. Yes. Yeah.
Like, what's my
And what
economy rate?
rate?
What do I need to do? And that all, you just like on the fly, you're having to try and basically redo the maths that you've had drilled into you for however 30 years if you're a professional. I can see that being problematic, because I take one look at the scorecard and I see Trent Bolt was gone for 1.6 runs per ball, and I'm like, wait, is that really bad? What is that? I was like, oh, it's just over 9 and over. Okay, it's not great, but it's not terrible. But you're like, it takes an extra bite, right, to get there, and I can see that having an effect on the players. But
yeah, so I think they'll solve some of these problems. I think they will solve some of these problems. I think, I think fundamentally it probably still is a good idea. Like, it probably is pretty entertaining, and when they do eventually work out how to properly package it and have it in the right format, people will begrudgingly admit it's quite good. Like, this season the cricket has not been good. Like, there's no point dressing that up, and the format isn't particularly intelligent, and we know that that's going to change. So the inclination is to be like, well, why should I bother to engage much? I also think like there's not enough games. Like, playing 8 matches over the season in a truncated format, like, we just have no idea who the good teams are. The margins are just too fine. Like, I think from what I've seen, the Oval Invincibles are actually
Welsh Fire are always bad. You know that.
Yeah, and I think Welsh Fire are pretty bad.
State of being.
Like, looking at the lineups that they have fielded, I think London Spirit are bad as well, and I think that Southern Brave are which I am just looking at the men's teams here. I think they're probably pretty good. So I think we get a kind of a flavour of it. But
that's like, that hasn't changed in the last
anything.
3 iterations. That's been the same, right?
Yeah,
they're the teams that have been
pretty much
either end.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I did enjoy it. Like, if we're talking about good things, I really enjoyed Sam Curran bowling 47 miles an hour.
Yeah, you've been doing that as a blast though, so there's nothing new. But it is funny. It's even funnier when you see it live. Like, it's genuinely incredible how slow it is. It's really, really quite impressive.
I think that's good. I enjoyed a little bit of Bairstow action. I know he didn't win the game, but it was still, Bairstow's always good in full flow.
Reminder. Rashid Khan's back.
Rashid Khan, if you're not watching the 100, and I assume some of our listeners won't be, he can bowl a googly again and looks like old Rashid Khan. Looks really, really good. And that game, Manchester Originals v Southern Brave, the one that they did win really late on when Reece Topley hit a 4, that actually was a really good game of cricket. So it is possible for this tournament to produce good cricket. Like,
not all doom and gloom.
That is a thing. And like, James Anderson's knocking around. I don't think he's playing today in the game, so maybe they've dropped him. But like, and that's a thing, isn't it? I do think it's good having all the England players involved as well.
I'm surprised that they were straight in as well. So fair play on that front.
I know that they could have. I know a couple of them will probably have a bit of a rest, which is fair. But I do think
I think it was only Jamie Smith. He missed one game, and then people who were a bit injured.
Carlton Stokes, yeah.
Other than that, I think
it's good to see all these guys.
They were all straight in. So
it's good to see all these guys, and it's good to see them compete against some of the people you don't see them compete against. So, like, you don't see, as an England fan, like I've got the 2 scorecards up now. Maybe today is not the greatest example because the stars on the London Spirit side aren't exactly stars. Ollie Stone, Dawson, and Pope are probably the 3 English stars, but they're playing against a team with Phil Salt and Josh Butler in. Now that isn't an interesting. Josh Tongue is playing like that is an interesting dynamic to see those players go up against each other. It's also interesting to see some of the kind of guys who are nearly England players but not quite England players. So in the match that's happening at the moment, Lewis Gregory's probably one of them, like a player who's had a really solid county career but never quite made it for England. What did he play? Maybe a couple of ODIs that time when everyone got ill.
Yes.
And then there's some
series.
There's some younger players that we expect to see maybe play a few games, and like Farhan Ahmed in this game, or his brother Rayan Ahmed, like Sonny Baker. I've heard some Sonny Baker chat around. Not seen it. Like I don't, there is only so much time in the day, and to have a tournament which does condense down some of the counties into what should be, the all-star squads is interesting. Like it is definitely a good thing, and getting the England players involved, the internationals involved, that is definitely a good thing. So I when they do sort out some of the format stuff, I think it could be a really excellent tournament, but it just isn't quite there at the moment. There you go. That's my 100 take. I'm sure we'll talk about it more. You got any other thoughts?
Well, I suppose we should spend a bit of time on the women's competition as well, because if there's one thing that we need to talk about on that side, it's that Grace Harris is just basically a class apart everyone else at the moment. She's pretty much single-handedly won 2 games for London Spirit. We've won 3 out of 3 off the back of being part of a key part of the all-conquering Surrey Women's Vitality Blast side. So she's having a year. She is having a year. So basically, if she's batting, you should probably watch.
Yeah, it's a point that everyone says, isn't it? The women's competition is a bit better than the men's, and that probably is true. In this, I think the stories are more interesting. The quality of player, like they seem to attract better stars.
They have the best of the best, don't they? Coming and turning out,
and actually really seemingly giving it everything. I'm not saying that all the men are just chilling out, but I reckon if you asked Heinrich Klaassen, like, what are the top 10 things you want to achieve in cricket? Like, is winning the 100 going to be in that? Like, it might actually be in the top 10 things to achieve in the women's game. Like, you've got Women's World Cup, two iterations of that. Then you've got the Big Bash and the WPL. The 100 might be the 5th thing in women's cricket from a team perspective.
Yeah, unless it's
maybe if you're obviously if you're England and Australia, you've got the Ashes, but like. You can.
But the Aussies have won that so many times; they're probably bored of it now, anyway.
Well, yeah, potentially, very, very possible. I think in men's cricket, I don't know if the 100 ranks like the top 10 things you'd like to achieve. That is my feeling. And so it does seem to be played with less intensity. I think it's better than like. Here's the thing: like, I'm not. I feel like I've probably been overly negative here. Like, it is better, I think, than that ridiculous tournament played in the desert. Like,
well, we did a ranking, didn't we, for the Patreon subscribers, where we put all the leagues, and the 100 was pretty high, wasn't it? In terms of quality, top 3.
Like, it probably is, but like, it's still. I think from like a lot of the players would probably like see the Big Bash as a bigger tournament, and maybe it is. Probably see the SA20 as a bigger tournament, and maybe it is. And the payday and
they get paid more.
The Desert Bash is probably better as well, so probably see that as more important. But like, as a fan, I do think it is better than the Desert one. It's probably better than the CPL. The PSL has kind of gone the way of the rest of Pakistani cricket, hasn't it? And it's better than the Bangladesh one. And it's got room for growth. Right, look, Max, I haven't got anything else to say about the 100. We've run enough out of it.
We have.
Wrap up.
We have. We've twisted its neck. Let's do that.
Cool. Goodbye, everyone.